Reggie Bush, because of this ruling from the NCAA, has contacted and the NCAA, the Heisman Trust, everybody about getting his Heisman Trophy back. If you guys don't remember, Reggie Bush had his Heisman Trophy confiscated because there was an investigation that found that he had made money from his own likeness while being at the University of California, Southern California, the year he won the Heisman. So I don't think it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. He should get his trophy back. And what should happen to other athletes who have been in that situation?
Same deal, dude. Same deal. The Terrell Pryor. I think guys like Terrell Pryor, dude. Terrell Pryor, he shouldn't have his name taken away from any of the record books at Ohio State. Tressel shouldn't have had seasons vacated and stuff like that. Obviously, you can't give him his job back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. But, just the tarnish that a lot of these guys' collegiate legacies was left with because of the aftermath of this stuff that happened, because these guys took money under the table and stuff like that. There's obviously people who are going to sit there and say, they ended up making it anyway. Terrell Pryor played how many years in the NFL? So it's like, he obviously ended up going to the NFL and making money anyway. But it's just like, the tarnish of his legacy when it comes to college is, that's what I don't agree with. So give them, clear their names and everything like that. But the biggest one, dude, like you just talked about, the biggest one is Reggie Bush, dude. Yeah. The biggest one is, he should be in the Heisman house. He should be up there on the stage presenting the Heisman Trophy with every other member of that Heisman fraternity, Mariota, Jameis Winston, Cam Newton, all those other guys. He should be a part of that, because in all honesty, dude, we think back to who was, probably the most exciting player of that era after the year 2000, between the year 2000 and this past season, dude. He probably was the most exciting player that we've seen in the last 20 years play college football. And he was playing at the height of USC's dynasty, dude. Like, USC was cool, dude. Like, they were one of the coolest teams to watch. So,
yeah, fully agree, dude. Like, for me, he better get his Heisman Trophy back. And not just that. You brought an interesting point. What's going to happen to all the other people who've been affected by similar things? There's other players like Johnny Manziel was affected by Terrell Pryor. You mentioned Jim Tressel. Like, is there even like an effective way to compensate or like make up for that? When you think about it, there really isn't. A lot of this damage to players like Terrell Pryor, who probably would have been a first-round pick or right up there had he had that extra year to develop. Like, the damage has been done. Like, granted, Terrell Pryor was able to salvage a bit of his career as a wide receiver, as a bit of a quarterback, and now he's out of the league. But it could have been a completely different story had these bullshit rules not been in place. And that's what I think is the crux of this. Because
Enes Kanter. Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Continue. Enes Kanter. And not many people knows about Enes Kanter, dude. Enes Kanter went to the University of Kentucky 1 year, didn't play a single game, was ruled ineligible before the season started because he was playing professionally when he was over in Turkey or whatever. I think he's from Turkey and everything like that.
Yeah.
He received money professionally when he was playing in Turkey. So as a result, he was on the Brandon Knight team that actually went to the Final Four. You think about stuff like that. Had that stuff not been in existence, he could have had a collegiate career. He could have had that year to develop, play in a college system and everything like that. He's still playing in the NBA and everything. But, you think about how much could, his presence have altered that season? How much could having an NBA caliber player who ended up leaving for the NBA anyway, despite not playing a single game? He was drafted like sixth or fourth overall or something like that in that draft. He was still drafted high, but the point was, you look at it like, a team like Kentucky, that team, this was the year before they had Anthony Davis, by the way, that team probably could have won the whole thing. And you had a guy like him who basically, he wanted to go to college. He wanted to play collegiate ball. Obviously, if he didn't want to play collegiate ball, he would have never showed up to Kentucky at all. He went to Kentucky, and just to be told you can't play, it's like, guys like that have been affected and something like that. Seasons have been altered or something like that. And if these rules was never existed, dude, obviously the outcomes would have been different, but we would have had, we probably would have gotten to see a better product too, dude. We probably would have gotten to see a better product of college basketball too.
Yes. And everything you just said, whether it was the case of Terrell Pryor, whether it was the case of Reggie Bush or Enes Kanter, Everything you just said is, I think, proves even more so how important this is in getting rid of these outdated and honestly systems that probably shouldn't have been in place for a very long time.
Give Derrick Rose at his college, give those guys their collegiate, Marcus Camby back in the 90s with UMass, dude. Give those guys their college career back. Anyone that broke records, give those guys their seasons back, because by punishing them, what you also did was you punished them and you punished their teammates, guys who necessarily, they didn't get a chance to play professionally. Like, even though Reggie Bush, yeah, he probably could have made a couple $1 million at 20 years old. Probably at the time back then would have been probably the highest paid collegiate athlete 20-year-old in the country, because he probably would have been in movies. He obviously would have had endorsements and stuff like that. You think about the money he made in the NFL, think about his teammates who they had to suffer, and maybe they had wins taken away from them in their career because the NCAA was trying to punish him.